Hello, everybody, and welcome to another webinar of us doing a live demo of PSPDFKit. My name is Richard. I am the VP of Sales here at PSPDFKit. A little bit about myself. I've been with the company for a little over 9 years. So excited to share a little bit about what PSPDFKit is, what type of things we offer, and get into a little bit of the functionality that you can bring to some of your applications that you're working on or products. Today, I've got some help in the background. Paviter, who is one of our solutions engineers, is going to be monitoring the chat and the questions. So at any time through the presentation today, if you have questions, technical questions, things like that, feel free to drop them in the chat. Pav will try and get to you as quickly as possible to give you information, context, links, and we'll be a team on that. So yeah, and from that, we definitely welcome a wide array of people coming and use cases to watch these. So if there is anything specifically that you'd like to see today, feel free to drop it in the chat. We will try to get to it. If not, we always have the opportunity to follow up after these to send over, a personalized demo and things like that. So we can jump in. So I will share the screen. Let's see. So once that's up, we should be good to go. So you should be sitting on our homepage, pspdfkit.com. So again, a little bit about the company. The company has been around a little over a decade. We entered the space primarily as a mobile SDK, specializing in iOS and Android. There were the big app craze where people were starting to build mobile applications. We kind of hit the market in the right time in terms of bringing document support to mobile apps. You can see some of our key customers such as Dropbox, DocuSign. These are customers that have been with us for a very long time that kind of helped us build out and support these type of document workflows. And so even today, you can see them using some of our technology under the hood when you're working with PDF documents. So, company-wise, we've got a couple different headquarters around the world. We are a globally distributed company, so we're excited for the opportunity to work with people and use cases all around. So, jumping in, so to navigate kind of the webinar today, I do want to give a quick overview of a lot of the different things we support, so you have an idea of what's possible here. The demoing of the actual functionality will primarily be with our web framework as we see a continued growth of interest in building web applications, and that being a primary use case for a lot of people. So we'll do that. PSPDFKit has support for a number of different operating systems, from web apps, mobile apps, server-side processes where things are done, headless. We have a couple managed APIs and things like that. So, we'll jump into our featured list. So when you look at the PSPDFKit offering, you're going to see a couple different things. So the first thing you're going to see is we have 2 different web integrations for, a variety of use cases. Web standalone is a fully client-side web SDK. So what that means when I say fully client-side is that you're going to deploy this in the browser, and then all the manipulation and viewing of the document happens entirely client-side. And so the way this works is we give you access to the JavaScript client, and it's running as a WebAssembly web worker. That WebAssembly web worker helps us do a lot of different things within the browser that power and enhance the performance of our framework itself. So, with this integration, all the workload's going to be offloaded to the clients and basically can run in a context where, there is no server available or you want to keep things off a server. So very, very, very powerful, very adoptable. This is something you can get up and running in a couple minutes. So looking towards web server backed, all the stuff that I said about the client side is still there, but this allows a little bit more of an integrated approach that enables additional features such as lazy loading documents, it's server-side processing and APIs. The key difference is you use a Docker container that we provide to run in your own data center or cloud provider account, which accesses your storage of PDF files and performs the manipulation there. So it integrates with the front end, basically just giving a little bit more power and stuff on the back end. So that's the web selection. So on the other side, you'll see a lot of different things in terms of the mobile SDKs, iOS, Vision OS, Android, Windows. These are all OS specific platforms that we've built and tailored with the idea that you're going to be able to provide a native viewing and manipulation experience within the application. People are not even going to know you're using a third-party SDK. Some hybrid technologies that we've adopted: Catalyst, Flutter, React Native, Electron. These are different, development languages and products and platforms that we see a lot of people using these days. So we provide some options to use those on top of some of our native bindings. Okay. Lastly, we identified some few tools in the space, such as SharePoint, Salesforce, Teams, and OneDrive, that don't have extensive PDF support, and we've built in a few products that integrate nicely into those as well. So, yep. And lastly, we've got a few server-side products specific to Java, Linux, Node.js, things like that you can use for automating workflows in the back end. So wonderful. See a couple people typing in the chat, so feel free to drop those questions in. That'll help us kind of guide today if we miss anything. So looking on the right side, again, we're gonna really focus on the web SDK today, as we see most of the interest in people signing up for this webinar, as well as for existing customer base. So we're gonna do some stuff here. On the right side, one of the benefits of PSPDFKit is we provide a completely bespoke pricing model. One of the largest driving factors of pricing for us is these features that you see on the right side: viewing, form creator, annotations. We equate this to development time and value. So when you're worrying about pricing or interested in pricing from us, less components less expensive, more components more expensive. So we could dive into a couple of these and get you an idea of what each component does. So starting with our viewer. So I'm going to pop into our homepage and then click this button here, and this launches our web demo. So our web demo is completely powered by PSPDFKit under the hood. We've built this lovely sidebar that kind of extracts different examples that you can see how each component works. So this sidebar is collapsible. This is a custom implementation. What you're really seeing in the browser window is what the PSPDFKit UI by default looks like. So you can see as I expand and contract the window side, you see the UI adapting to that and stuff like that. The UI is customizable. You can do that, but everything below the PSPDFKit logo is with how PDFs would rendered in your application. So we'll start with the viewer. So the viewer is the core component of the SDK. Essentially, we take responsibility for rendering the PDF in your application. PSPDFKit is built off of PDFU. And so, when we were building out a lot of our technology, we made a conscious decision to take PDFU and fork off of it. It's been 8 or 9 years since we made that decision. And what that allowed us to do is take the open source tool that PDFU is, the advantage that it provides being owned and backed by Google, the number of users it has, it's used by Chrome, so it's in the most popular browser in the world. It gave us the ability to, one, control our own roadmap, build off of it, build more functionality, but also contribute back to PDFU so that we're not in a position where we're not able to solve problems of ourselves. So, when we're seeing performance things like that, bugs, any security issues, we have full control of being able to control that narrative and, change things and help our customers kind of build what they need. So viewer being built off of PDFU, we've rendered the document. You can check the fidelity of ability to scroll through the document. With a lot of our use cases, having good results when you zoom is very important. So zooming in to a high magnifying percentage and still getting that that fidelity is very important. So we're going to zoom out to the page. Other viewing features, being able to rotate the page while we're looking at it, go full page, look at it different ways. So like a lot of the stuff you expect from a document viewer, compared to some of the open source examples, you have the ability to, really have a more polished look. The performance is going to be better. Other things that come with the viewer is our thumbnail view, where you can see different documents here. If you have a larger document, if you need to quickly navigate, we also have an outline. So a lot of our efforts here at PSPDFKit is adhering to the PDF specification. Some things we do are proprietary because we think we want to innovate beyond what the spec is and be more up to date with how people work with documents. But the fact that if the document is digitally created with a outline, we're able to pull that outline and navigate it as well. Same things with stuff like bookmarks. If you want to create a bookmark to be able to save pages, you can create that. If I jump somewhere else and go back, and I'm able to jump back to that bookmark on page 20. So cool. A lot of stuff about the viewer. Last couple of things about viewer. We have a search engine that allows you to search within the document. So I'm able to select the text that I found here, and it pops up. Additionally, within the viewer, we open up the ability to work with other file types. So you're thinking Office files, you're thinking image files. We're able to convert those to PDFs upon rendering them using WebAssembly. And so, one of the core benefits of using our Office conversion with our web client is that you can do this completely client-side. There's no server requirement. There's not a lot of options in the space right now that's not requiring you to send your document to a server and convert it. We can do both. We can do it fully client-side. We can do it with a server component as well. So Office files, image files, things like that, we can convert those as we're rendering the document so that you're looking at what you assume to be a PDF now. So we are able to convert that docx quite quickly, and then you have it for use. Cool. Thanks, Pat, for helping out there. That's great. So back to our component list, that's viewer. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead to annotations. Annotations is probably where we see most of the people kind of peeking their head over the fence, looking around to go with a third-party solution. There's a couple open source viewers, obviously PDFUme, as we talked about. This is what PSPDFKit is built off of. There's PDF.js, which is an open source viewer. There's a lot of viewing solutions out there. So annotations is kind of something where you come really to the point of a build versus buy question. And so with PDF and the spec and the complexity around it, we have a lot of people migrating from maybe open source viewers or starting all the way at the beginning of the journey with us as their viewer. It's the application running for mobile devices, iPad. So jumping back to the viewer for the question there, the SDK, the web SDK, if you want to run a web-based application with our viewer, we do have the ability to show you how the UI would adopt to running a web application on a mobile device. So you can see this is a view of how the web SDK would interact with an iPad if you're doing this. So the UI is a little bit different because we're adapting to the device it is. We also have the native bindings if you wanted to run just an iOS application with us in it as well. But we have the option if you want to do web-based or if you want to do something more native. Web, by all means, can cover the most ground, as most devices can run a web browser these days. I think my fridge runs a web browser. But if you want to get more granular, that UI, that workflow, the gestures, definitely recommend considering like our iOS SDK for like an iPad app or something like that. But you have the option based on kind of what you have in-house for development and kind of what audience you're trying to attack. So hope that's helpful. Okay. So back to annotation. So when we jump into annotations, there's a lot on here to unpack. So we'll kind of go quickly through it. So I'm gonna open up my annotations demo. I'm gonna kill the sidebar. So this is basically a document we built on, outlining why we built off of Google's PDF view. And as we scroll, you're going to see a couple different types of annotations here. So we have link annotations, which gives you kind of action items so that if you click on stuff, certain things happen. So link annotation is going to push me to page 3. If I wanted to, I could create link annotations and things like that. And I have the ability to, control kind of what those do. So go to page 4. Here we go. Other annotation types, sticky notes. So I've clicked this. So with different sticky notes, I can respond to the sticky note. I can also change different things here. Probably our most commonly used annotation type is probably just the ink annotations where you're able to draw. What we do here is we do give you an annotation inspector, which allows you to toggle the annotation. You can change the color, it can change the backfill, and change the opacity. You have a lot of customization here. All these can be changed by default if you'd like. You don't have to use what we do. We usually stick to PSPDFKit Blue. That's just kind of what we've adopted, but you can also change things as you need to. Other free form kind of annotation types would be able to highlight, as well as erasing anything that you did as well. So we a lot of functionality here in terms of the annotation bit. We can go a little bit further through the document if we can see other annotations. So we have some text highlighting here. So what you've seen is we are selecting text and then have the ability to kind of highlight it. So I'm going to double click on these lines, start marking them for certain editing and stuff. So while you're doing this stuff, since you're using a text selection API, you're able to extract any of the information as well if you would like to do something with that. Okay. Last couple bits of annotations before we move on. We can add text. We've got a text inspector up here as well, different fonts, as well as annotations or shape annotations that you can use. So lots of different functionality here. And we'd love to hear if there's anything that you're working on, like, if you need a certain annotation type, let us know. Being an SDK provider, we get use cases all around the world, all different uses. If there's something missing or you need help with, achieving a certain result, please let us know. And then, we'll wrap up the annotations bit with just a nice stamp to say we've approved this demo of annotations. So cool. Don't see any other questions, so I will keep moving on in terms of helping everyone out. Cool. Okay. All right. Moving along the PDF spec, we'll talk a little bit about forms and signatures. I would say that, when we look across the board in terms of what people are coming to PSPDFKit for, signature use cases are pretty up there. People looking to bring either signature workflow in-house, they're building a SaaS product that's going to have a signing component to it, or maybe you're using a third-party component that might be getting a little pricey. So, when it comes to signatures and forms, a lot of them are based on form support. So signature boxes, things like that. So when we look at form support, PSPDFKit follows the PDF specifications, and we support the viewing and filling of acro forms. What that means is we're able to detect with the SDK what type of form fields in it. So first name, we would put a text box. Last name is a text box. We also do check boxes and radio buttons, drop downs, and things like that. Big thing too, we can detect a signature box. So we're able to kind of take a digitally created form as it is, render it, show what's in there, but also be able to fill out those boxes. The next step to it is if we don't have the form that we want, or we need to edit a form, we have a form creator tool, which allows you to basically create form fields. So we have a nice toolbar here that you can customize, but let's say I needed to get rid of this date field and actually put a signature box here instead. What I can do is I can drag the signature box here. and it would allow me to, change the nature of the form. Let's say I don't want these to be checkboxes anymore. I can delete these. We're going to switch these over to radio buttons because I don't know, I like radio buttons better. Okay, I don't really like the appearance of those. Those aren't great. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this was my data visual button. I'm going to have a value, and then I can come in here and change the color, the border color, things like that. So I can change the appearance of the form itself using a UI control. What's really cool about PSPDFKit is as I'm going through everything today, and I've got a couple people picking questions and stuff like that, anything we're doing from a UI perspective, there's a backend API that you can probably hook into to do things programmatically. So that's super helpful for you to understand that you're able to do a lot of this stuff on both sides of the SDK, either from a UI workflow or from a programmatic workflow. So that's creating a form. So that helps us do things like that. So cool. Moving from forms is a key thing with forms, and a lot of things you're going to see is signatures, because most forms have some sort of signature box. So, what we see here is, we support two different types of signature workflows. We see electronic signatures and digital signatures. Big debate, probably what you need. That's probably going to be depending on how legally binding you want the signature to be. On the surface level, we do what we call electronic signature. So you can click the electronic signature icon. You can come in here and sign. So I'll do John Smith. I can draw it. I can then save it. I can change the color. I can upload an image of my signature, or I can do something as simple as just type it out, and then I'm going to drop it here. So you can use it as an annotation type. It drops a signature. I can resize it. I can move it somewhere else. Maybe maybe I'm going to delete this. Maybe I just need to put my signatures. So JS, my signatures. I need to make sure I initial the bottom left box. So I'm going to drop this down here. Okay, so that's one way to add a signature. The second way is if there's a form field on the PDF that is labeled as a signature box. If you click it, it'll pop up with the same overview. You're able to do the same workflow, but what we do is we auto size fit the signature to the text box and there. So that is a way to do electronic signatures. There is a additional workflow that we can support called digital signatures. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this as I was demoing it earlier. So a digital signature is essentially, it starts with the same process. You're signing a document. So we're going to John Smith, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then you add a digital certificate. PSPDFKit is the ability to do a couple different things when it comes to digital signatures. We can render a digital signature if it's already on the PDF. We can apply a digital certificate, and we can authenticate a digital certificate. So we have these ability to basically keep that workflow in place. What we are not a certificate authority, so you do have to essentially get your own certificate, but we can help. So we're going to do signature field. Here's our image. Show signer. We'll show reason. Let's say digital certificate. So I'm using this. I'm using sidebar, signature type. We'll do this, display mode with description. And I'm going to go ahead and digitally sign this document. I'm adding the digital certificate. PSPDFKit's processing it, authenticating it. Wonderful. Re-render the document. Cool. You can see up here in the top right, we have the certificate here, which is great. Love it. I've got PSPDFKit telling me that it's been signed and all the signatures are valid. We've watermarked it. A lot of different things here that we can do. The flip side of this, which a lot of value comes in, is if I come in here, take this signature and move it, PSPDFKit recognizes that this document has been altered since it has been signed, therefore invalidating the digital certificate and telling anybody who renders it that this is no longer valid. So pretty cool, pretty valuable for a lot of our signature component. companies, but yeah, it's digital signatures. I'm going to go back to the chat, get questions. How about using it in an image viewer and how it's about to watermark it? Input fields in Pav's on it. Cool. Wonderful. Thank you, Pav. You are ahead of the game. Okay. Thanks. Definitely keep the questions coming. We definitely want to help out as much as we can. So making about halfway through the component list. Some of these will come a little bit quicker. You know, we talked about Office file support. We talked about image document support. Those go quite quickly because, you know, what we're doing is converting those document types to PDFs. You know, we do have some technology that we can come back to the original document type as well, like bringing an Office file back to PDF, bringing in an image, bringing a PDF back to images, so we can consider those. Okay. For the last couple of features that we want to talk about, a big one that we see a lot of people relying on third-party tools like Adobe is what we call the document editor. So it's this button here. We open it up. What it is going to allow us to do is to basically manage the document from a holistic level. So what that means is I'm editing the document itself. I'm moving pages. I'm deleting pages. I'm duplicating pages. I'm going to import a document that I might have been working on. So, you know, maybe I can find something that won't get me in trouble. Okay, cool. Oh, that won't get me in trouble. I can save that, and I've added our logo to the document. Okay. You know, some of this stuff might be hard to see, so, you know, we want to zoom in, get a better look at the thumbnail so I can actually see. All right. I like things when they're upside down. Rotate that to the right. But it gives you a better chance to manage the document holistically in your application without having to go out to like a third-party tool like Adobe, maybe using Nitro. You know, there's a lot of third-party desktop applications that people use for this stuff. This is all happening in your application without ever having to leave. Pretty powerful stuff. And then I always have the ability, if I want to save over the document or create an additional one. More of a niche one, you know, we do have a crop feature if you need to crop certain things out of the PDF, but yeah, part of the document editor. Cool. I think Rahul is typing about some stuff there, so that'll be good. Cool. Take a quick break to see. Pav's got us all handled. Thanks, Pav. Okay. So a couple other things to kind of go into. So we work in a number of different industries. So you come to our solutions page, you're going to see a lot of different industries: aviation, construction, education, things like that. What's really, really cool about PSPDFKit is that if you come to these pages, let's say construction, maybe you're in the construction and engineering industry, maybe you're using PSPDFKit, maybe you're using one of these tools that use PSPDFKit, Autodesk, PlaneGrid, Red Team, you know, Procore. Maybe you're using one of these tools right now, or your customer's using one of these tools right now, or you compete with one of these tools with PSPDFKit under the hood. So what we do is we show you a lot of different ways to use PSPDFKit, a lot of different use cases, how to use PSPDFKit. And at the bottom, we actually make we come to the very bottom, we make some suggestions on what components to use as well. So from there, you know, when we look at construction and engineering, we've built some stuff specifically for the construction and engineering workflows. So the first one being measurement. So one of the things that PDFs are commonly used for is blueprints, drawings, technical drawings, things like that. So what we have built is a tool basically that allows you to set the ratio, use a calibration tool, things like that. But then you're able to measure the distance between things. And so you're able to see the scale, and you're able to actually work within the PDF to measure distance. So like we have snapping, so it'll snap to it. You can do distances. You can come in if you want and do like a circumference. So if you want to do a circumference, and then it's going to snap the best it can to the document. So I can change this as well. So let me exit out here, delete this one, back into my measuring tool, but we can do a square. Let's see if I can find a square to do. Go. There we go. And I'm able to measure. There we go. Measure the distance there. Okay. Wonderful. Are there any known problems with any browser? So we work with all the major browsers. Pav just beat me to it. We work with all major browsers. We QA with all major browsers. Internet Explorer is one of the ones that, unfortunately, I think everyone has problems with. So it's something that we definitely recommend staying away from. I know some clients do use it, but it's not a PSPDFKit thing. It's some of the technology under IE11 and things like that that we're not able to optimize. So we do see sometimes performance degradation by people using Internet Explorer, but I'm running in Chrome. We do Safari, Edge, things like that. You shouldn't see anything. Cool. So that is measurements. The other one that's cool is we have a comparison feature. So I'm going to show you the first one. So comparison, we do it in two manners. We do vector-based PDFs and we do text-based PDFs. So for vector-based PDFs, it's kind of straightforward. Up in the right, you're going to see the selection grid. You can see me moving the cursor. So what I'm going to do, and we walk you through it, is I'm going to pick 3 spots on this PDF that I'm going to hopefully remember. And then additionally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the same 3 spots on the second version of this document as well. What PSPDFKit is then going to do is I'm going to overlay those 2 PDFs and I'm going to highlight the differences. So what you see in blue and red is we're highlighting those differences so you can actually see the versioning of the documents itself. So you see version 1, you see version 2, and you're able to compare and contrast those. So that's compare documents. What we've also built is a visual one where you compare text-based documents. So what you're able to do is maybe overlay the first version of a contract, you overlay the second version of the contract, and then you're able to see the differences between those contracts through an API that populates the results. So some cool stuff there to be able to do that. Sorry about the noise. There's some construction going on next door. Just that's how webinars and demos go. So cool. So cool, good stuff. Things coming in. We've cranked out a lot of different stuff, measurement tools, image documents, Office file support, PDFA conversion. That's another thing that I kind of group into Office file support and image documents that we have the ability to essentially convert documents to be PDFA compliant. Okay, so all right, we're going to go into a little bit higher technical solutions that we have as we kind of round out the time here. And one of those are redaction. So redaction is a very valuable tool in terms of where we sit in the market. There's a lot of providers out there that provide basically a bounding box that they put over text. But the issue kind of comes up often that, you know, when I look at this document, I can see that application is coming up 6 times, right? So a lot of solutions will just put a box over it, but it's still going to come up. What we do is we're able to select the word application. We'll say it's a webinar. So this is the reason why we're doing this. So it's a webinar. Don't like the red text. We're going to switch to purple. All right, I'm going to click this and I'll apply the redaction. So here we go. I've redacted that. We're going to redact one more. Nope, sorry, excuse me. Wrong thing. Go. Delete. I'm going to apply redaction again. Webinar, repeat text. Go green. Redaction. We have webinar. Cool. So if you remember the first time we searched for application, it popped up 6 times. It's only popping up 4 times now because we've removed the underlying image of the PDF from the PDF so that it's been permanently removed. So you're able to permanently redact things from the document. We have area-based redaction if you need to, redact images. If we need to kill signatures, there's a lot of different ways you can redact things. On kind of the customization side, we've built out some custom examples. So when you're seeing me go to the sidebar during the webinar, all of these are custom examples. So what you're seeing is we have code samples that we can share with you that allow you to kind of build these workflows out almost immediately to be able to get to where we've already built the SDK for. So what's cool about the search is you're able to set up certain things. So like we have built-in redaction tools that we go, okay, let's launch the redaction tool. Okay. Let's apply the redaction, things like that. And then we have things like, why don't we auto detect sensitive information of the PDF itself? So we're finding certain things in the document that we want to redact. So social security numbers, things like that. So that's very possible. Yep. All right. All right. Catching up. Pav's helping roll out. Thank you very much. Okay. And the last two things to cover today is, one of them is it's a growing kind of trend that we're seeing, and that's OCRing documents. So the world is largely moving to a digital format, if not in a lot of different use cases. And moving to that digital format means that we're taking stuff that was previously on paper and scanning it in, bringing it in. Maybe a document was digitally created, but what PSPDFKit can provide is basically a proprietary OCR engine that we've built on top of a couple different things that allows you to extract information. So if we're looking at a Word document or a text-based document, so I'm going to render this as quickly as possible and run the OCR engine. We're doing it client side for the viewing of the PDF. I'm able to, let's see, refresh this real quick. All right, skill a couple things. So I was able to run an OCR engine on this invoice. And what that has allowed me to do is a couple different things. It's allowed me to extract the text, so then now it's findable. So I can now find the word PDF where previously I couldn't. I'm able to highlight these things. I'm able to do a lot. I'm able to pull this value out. I can redact. I can do a lot of things with this information now that we have the ability to read the document. And so we provided a couple different tools that you can actually pull information out of the document. You can OCR the document. You can find characters, words. It just kind of depends what language you want to do. So OCRing has become a really popular thing for a lot of people kind of living in a digital format where there's a lot of paper in their workflow. So very, 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 very useful. So the last one, which I think is kind of a rarity as well, is what we call content editing. Content editing is, most of the stuff I've shown today is you're adding an additional layer to the PDF. You're looking at the PDF and you're adding an annotation layer. You're adding a form. You're adding a signature. You're adding something to the PDF. What content editing allows you to do is to take the original digitally created document and actually edit the core. I guess we call it the core layer. You actually can edit the content of it. And what our content editor allows you to do is it allows you to move text. It allows you to edit the text. So let's see, this was webinar on January 25th, 2024. We don't like that, so let's make that text box bigger. But you're able to go back and change the text. So think how many times maybe you're working with a Word document, you convert it to a PDF, you go ship it out, and you go, date's wrong. I put 2023 instead of 2024. In a normal workflow, you'd have to go back to that core source document, change it, and then convert it to a PDF. Again, with Content Editor, you just go in, edit the content, change it to 2024, and you're moving on. So, content editing is a very powerful tool to be able to give you a little bit more flexibility. Maybe you're sending out a sales order and you need to change the date or change the price. Rather than having to restart from the source document entirely, you can do that in your application with PSPDFKit with content editing without ever having to leave. Please reach out, let us know. We'd love to have a conversation with you. From a licensing model perspective, we license this as an annual subscription. It comes with updates and support. The idea is that we're here to partner with you, help you. The PDF specification is it's long, it's confusing, it can be buggy if you don't have the right team behind you. And so we'd love to have a conversation, send over a custom quote for what you need, figure out what components you need and functionality. But, we're here to help. We have a high retention rate with people who adopt PSPDFKit. We often say, if you're looking at doing this and you're trying to decide between buy versus build, if you're going to do it right from the beginning, especially if you have a lengthy roadmap with a lot of PDF features. You will receive a email with the recording, so you will be able to share this. Again, if we covered a lot of things from a very high level, if you want to come talk to us for 30 minutes about measurement tools, let's do it. So before we depart, a couple little things. If you're interested in starting the conversation about pricing, come to the pricing page, hit contact sales. We've got a couple different ways. We just need a couple things from you to understand, mostly like who we can hook you up with. We got a distributed sales team. We want to get in your time zone. You can schedule a call directly with us using our Calendly. I could get on a call in about an hour and a half if I needed. It looks like I'm not available till 4:30, but you might be. You can email sales. We also have technical support. So aside from the sales and the solutions engineering team, you can go straight to our engineering team, our support team, and have conversations there. And we're happy to help with that. If you're pre-evaluation, haven't started playing around with the SDK, don't worry, we've got you covered there. You come into the free trial. If you wanted to test out what we did today, you'd go to our web SDK. You'd pick if you want to go to the server-backed integration, or if you want to go maybe just with the Angular integration. And what that's going to allow you to do is get you straight into our guides, get you up and running. We do watermark the PDF, but you're going to be able to evaluate everything that we showed today. So you're going to have an ability to work with that without any issues. So last thing before I let y'all jump off, and I always end my webinars here. Several years ago, we built a tool called PSPDFKit Instant. It's outside of the PDF specification, but we allow you to export a lot of the stuff you do back to the standard annotation format. So we looked at how PDFs are interacted with. We looked at different tools in the industry, and we want to make a modern interface for PDFs and documents. And Instant is what we built and we brought to market, and it's been widely adopted by board meeting applications, education, engineering, construction, anything that has multiple people working on a PDF. And so what essentially it has allowed us to do is build almost like a Google Docs workflow. So what I have here is I have two browsers running simultaneously. So what this allows me to do is anytime I'm working with a PDF, if there's any changes to the PDF, anyone that has access to that document is getting an immediate real-time update. So you're collaborating in real time. So if I, annotate the document, that's happening. If I jump over here and I move the annotation, that's being updated as well. Things like that. So we have all types of work there that we're able to do. One of the cool things that we've built out is, threaded commenting as well. So you can have sidebar chats, you can use API names and things like that. So just something to ponder on if you're looking at your use case and you go, I've got a lot of people working on the document. There's some complex resolutions we're having trouble with always having the same version out. PSPDFKit might be the tool for you. So, that's going to wrap us up today. What product was that? That was PSPDFKit Instant. It's available to run on our web SDK or mobile SDKs, things like that. So really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for the questions. It makes it much more enjoyable when we have questions and people asking. If there's anything we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will be sending a recording over this, and I hope everyone has a great Thursday. Thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you next time. We definitely do these every few weeks.